Tonight at the St. Louis Arena, the Minnesota North Stars hook up again with the St. Louis Blues. Welcome to North Stars Hockey Live on KMSP Channel 9. The North Stars' biggest playoff upset may have been against Chicago, first overall in the league, or against the defending Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers. But those playoff victories would not have sent the North Stars to the Stanley Cup final without this one, the one that meant the Norris Division title as Minnesota eliminated St. Louis in 6 games. And in the wake of that playoff series defeat, the St. Louis Blues decided changes were necessary. They signed 2 expensive free agents, Dave Christian and Brendan Shanahan. They made a trade for another Sutter from Philadelphia, Ron Sutter, Rich's twin brother. Good evening, everyone. Glad to have you with us at the St. Louis Arena. I'm Dave Hodge with Joe Micheletti. Last season, these two teams met, and strategy was always important. I guess it's no different this season.
No, the player to stop for the Blues is certainly Brett Hull. He leads the league in shots, and he's right up there again in goals scored.
The North Stars had Gaetan Duchesne and Stu Gavin to check Brett Hull last season. They don't have Duchesne tonight as he is still sitting out of suspension, but they do have Stu Gavin. Also very important for Minnesota to take advantage of scoring chances because the Blues have been giving a lot of those.
They just haven't played very well in their zone this year. They're giving up a lot of shots, especially in the first period.
And so that means that if the North Stars can score first, they might take advantage over St. Louis. The Blues have been struggling leading off in the first period. Now, what does St. Louis have to do to win?
Well, I think the biggest key for St. Louis is they have to improve on their power play. They certainly haven't scored many goals on the power play. They're going to Brett Hull way too much, and they need somebody else to help out. In addition to that, they've got to take care of their own end. They haven't played well defensively, as we mentioned. They've got to get much tighter.
And if it's important for Minnesota to score first, it's obviously important for St. Louis to score first. So we'll watch the first period as a potential key to this game. Watch us in our intermissions, and we'll have the Lynn Humphrey taking the national anthem right to the top. John Casey's at the top of the NHL in shutouts with his 7-0 whitewash of Toronto. He has 2 shutouts this season and will play again for Minnesota. At the other end for the Blues is former Wisconsin Badger 24-year-old Curtis Joseph, who has carried the bulk of the St. Louis goaltending load.
And has played very well in goal for St. Louis. And talking to some of the players, he's been one of their better players. Meanwhile, the referee tonight is Rob Schick, the linesman Jerry Pateman, and Ron Finn.
Our Stars will start Neil Broughton at center ice. Mike Modano and Brian Bellows are on the wing, and a well-known checking unit for St. Louis is out to start the game. Bob Basson between Dave Lowry and Rich Sutter as the Blues control the puck off the draw with Jeff Brown hitting Basson, and so did a stick hit Bob Basson as he got the puck in. He recovers now to lead the St. Louis forechecking. The puck comes out to center ice, and Rich Sutter has it for the Blues. Lee Norwood is on the ice on left defense. He scored the winning goal here the other night against Winnipeg in his first game back as a St. Louis Blue after being acquired from Hartford. Here's Modano for Minnesota now. Straight up the middle of the ice, and his stick shatters as the puck goes into the Blues zone. Bellows can't get to it. Lowry just flipped it high, waiting for it to drop in the glove of Bobby Smith. North Stars of Gavin now. He flipped it, and Smith gloves it again. On the left side, Bobby Smith with a shot. Easy stop for Joseph, the first of the game. Gavin heads for the net. Back of the net, Smith couldn't control it. And Dave Lowry starts out for St. Louis. Long shift for Lowry. He'll fight to get to the bench and get a change.
It'll be interesting to see what Coach Brian Sutter does with Hull, to see who he plays Hull against. That time, Bob Gainey got the change he wanted with Gavin out there against Brett Hull, and we all know what a job he did on Brett Hull in the playoffs last year. Against
Winnipeg on Thursday night, he had how many shots on goal?
He had 13 shots on goal in that game, and he hit the post twice.
Brett Hull has 129 shots on goal this season. That's 40 more than the next highest shooter, Al McInnes of Calgary. The only player in the NHL that gets more shots in a game than he does in the warm-up. And he's on the ice now with his usual centerman. That being Adam Oates, Dave Christian on the left side, and right now the North Stars have Dave Gagne out with Basil McRae and Mike Craig opposite St. Louis's big line. Hatcher turns to get the puck from Casey, flips it back to Gagne. This is an interesting mix of offense and defense for the North Stars. Basil McRae to play against Brett Hull. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see Bob Gainey do a lot of different things, I'm sure, because his biggest concern certainly is Brett Hull.
Gagne's pass hit Oates, who had a chance. Gagne and Oates hold each other's sticks. Now it's Hatcher. North Stars right up the middle to Gagne. Breaking on the left side is Basil McRae with a full head of steam. McRae down the left wing. In the corner, centered in, a shot right on. A big chance for Mike Craig. And the first tough stop as the Blues' Garth Butcher comes at Basil McRae. And there are penalties, or at least one penalty indicated by Rob Schick.
Well, that all started with Basil McRae going down the wing, and he and Garth Butcher came together behind the net. And Basil McRae ended up retaliating against Butcher in front of the net after a good play. But what a save by Curtis Joseph on Mike Craig. Dave Christian let him go right at the crease, and Joseph came up with a great save.
Well, there is only one penalty. It seemed to me that Butcher hit McRae, but perhaps you could have viewed it the other way around, so Basil McRae gets the penalty.
Well, that's one thing about Garth Butcher, is that he's an agitating type of player. After the whistles, he's always going to hit you late. He's going to talk to you the entire game. And the one thing against him, he tries to draw penalties, and right there, he did a good job drawing Basil McRae into a penalty.
So an early power play chance for the St. Louis Blues, and their power play has struggled. And that's a mystery with people like Hull and Oates available.
Well, you know what sometimes happens, Dave, is last year Brett Hull had such an outstanding year, scoring 86 goals in the regular season. Now they seem to want to go to him all the time on the power play. You'll notice on this power play, one thing that St. Louis has not done is that they haven't taken any shots from the point. They've got Adam Oates, generally a center, playing the point on the power play. When he gets out there, he's taking a little rest right now, but he doesn't shoot the puck. Jeff Brown doesn't shoot the puck that much, and teams tend to pay more attention to Brett Hull, and therefore their power play just hasn't worked as well.
The North Stars are third of the league in penalty killing, and this would be St. Louis's second power play unit, as Hull and Oates and company will get a bit of a rest. Dominic Lavoie shoots it in. Johnson tries to get it out for Minnesota, kept in by rookie Nelson Emerson. Emerson gets it back from Lee Norwood. Moves around Johnson, a backhand. Casey, one save. Where's the rebound? Another save for John Casey. As Emerson is grabbed, he had another chance. Here's Norwood at the point. There's a shot from the point. It's wide. Craig Ludwig's chance to get it out is successful, at least to the St. Louis blue line. Emerson passes it past Bellows, gets it back again, and Shanahan drops it for Lee Norwood. Brendan Shanahan again. Brett Hull is on the ice now, and back of the goal. Ludwig dumped it into the corner. Emerson back at the point where there is no St. Louis blue. Hull slipped down, fired it around behind the net. Casey reached for it, couldn't get it. Emerson does. Back to Jeff Brown. Other side. Oates and Hull play that side. Here's Brown with a shot, nicely blocked by Mark Bureau and cleared for the North Stars by Al Peterson.
Good job by Mark Bureau sliding to block that shot. What sometimes happens, and what coaches want to do when you're struggling on the power plays, they'll tell their defensemen, just start shooting and get some shots on goal and see if something won't happen.
Loose in front of the net. Christian just couldn't control it, and Gavin shoots it away again as there are 25 seconds and counting remaining in the penalty. Brown slowly out of the St. Louis zone. Now it's Adam Oates, the leading assist maker in the National Hockey League, and Hull, of course, is tied for the league lead in goals, so that's as potent a combination as it was last season, if not in total numbers, at least in ranking league-wide.
Well, those two, Hull and Oates, may be the best and probably are the best 1-2 punch in the National Hockey League. I don't think there's been anyone as dominant since probably Curry and Gretzky in Edmonton, and probably before that, Trottier and Bossy for the Islanders.
The North Stars have killed off the first penalty of the game to Basil McRae. Blues with Rick Zombo, who was taken down. Now it's Bellows with a chance as he gets it on his stick at center ice. Took a good hit from Ron Sutter. Bellows follows up. Chance for Brian Bellows. A shot went wide. Peterson kept it in. Bobby Smith to the net, and Bellows could not deflect it. Here's a chance for Brian Glynn. Big shot by Glynn, right on, and the rebound is nicely swept away by Joseph, who has been the busier of the two goaltenders, at least in tough saves. There's another one rolled wide by Bellows. Good pressure by this North Stars unit, which finds Smith between Modano and Bellows. Bobby Smith digs it free. Smith centered it. Bellows had it in his skates and was hit, and there will be a St. Louis penalty on the play as the North Stars get their power play chance with 14:52 remaining in the opening period. Other than that, a major power play chance for Minnesota.
Kelly Chase gets whistled off by Rob Schick. He's going to go off for a high sticking major, it looks like, on Brian Bellows. Great pressure by the North Stars in the blue zone. They kept the puck going. They kept skating and moving the puck. They had some good opportunities. Finally, Kelly Chase from behind takes down Brian Bellows, and it gives the North Stars the first real good chance.
That's the penalty. Kelly Chase, 5 minutes in a game misconduct, so one of the St. Louis Blues tough guys is gone for the night. Bellows had a scoring chance below him, but never did get to the puck because of Chase. And so now here's Bob Gainey's power play unit. Gagne will take the draw in the St. Louis zone. Blues Lee Norwood shoots it down the ice, and the North Stars will group their power play from their own zone.
And what the North Stars can expect the Blues to be doing, killing this penalty, is they'll put a lot of pressure on them all over the ice. They want to put pressure on the puck carrier, especially in the offensive zone.
Two North Stars dig for it and dig it out, but it's in the far side now for Butcher, and he shoots it away. 4.5 minutes remaining in the major penalty to Chase. Again, it'll be Brian Glynn, who, like the last time in here, the North Stars have given up some of that power play time, taking an interference penalty at their own blue line.
Well, that's just one thing that can't happen. On the power play, you don't want to take a penalty in your own zone.
Often see teams get too anxious with the 5-minute power play, and we also often see this, where teams find a way of getting the referee to call a penalty on them when they're up a man for 5 minutes.
Well, especially when you have good puck control, that's when you want to let the defenseman make the play, or let the forward make the play, and let him beat that guy with a pass as opposed to interfering.
Adam Oates down the right side for St. Louis. He's out with Brett Hull. Here's the leading shooter in the NHL, missing in his first try tonight. North Stars in their own zone, as the teams have 4 skaters each right now. North Stars will go back on the power play when Brian Propp gets out of the box in 1.5 minutes. Slowly, Jim Johnson looked for somebody to pass it to, keeps it, and flips it into the corner. Norwood bothered by Ulf Dahlin, who reaches for the puck, now uses his skates and digs it free into the corner, but the St. Louis Blues have control with Norwood. Oates slowly as both teams look for a break. If there is one, Oates hitting Murray Barron across the line. His shot was blocked, and the North Stars have a chance. Modano with good speed. Oates chasing him. Mike Modano fires it, and Joseph got a piece of it. There is a penalty coming up here as the Blues are going to the box again, and the North Stars are on the power play, and soon will be 2 men up on St. Louis.
Went to defend Mike Modano after Modano used his great speed to get a chance on Curtis Joseph, and after he took the shot, Oates tried to take Modano out of the play, got his stick up, and he gets whistled off. 2 minutes for high sticking, so the North Stars will have the 5-on-3, 5-on-4 manpower advantage. But Modano with the great speed, he's able to cut in. Now Oates is coming back on him, and as he tries to lift his stick, he actually catches Modano high in the forehead. Actually, Dave, Oates is pretty fortunate that he didn't cut him on that play and get another, and the Blues get another 5-minute manpower advantage.
Well, the North Stars may have been arguing that he might have got 4 minutes. Just the same, it was a high stick that could have caused an injury, and a rather flagrant one in terms of where it hit Modano. But it's a 2-minute penalty to Oates, and so 53 seconds from now, when Brian Propp gets out, the North Stars are going to have a 2-man advantage, and right now they've got a 1-man advantage.
Well, the North Stars have to take advantage of this chance right now. In the last 6 games, the Blues have given up 17 first period goals. So the Blues, or the North Stars, have to score here, get an early lead, and get the Blues back reeling in their own zone.
Great opportunity to do that. Gagne fighting with Ronnie Sutter on the draw. The North Stars have Neil Broughton playing one of the point positions. He'll take the puck from Brian Bellows. North Stars swing back into their own zone, and now Gagne leads the rush. Dave Gagne stops. Cross-ice pass intended for Bellows was picked off, and the Blues relieve the pressure immediately.
Good job by the Blues that time, killing that off. The North Stars have to take their time and make good passes.
Another chance for Rick Zombo to get it out, and he does. Casey, a long pass for Broughton. He set up Stu Gavin that way against the Leafs earlier in the week. Trailing the play, Bellows with a shot. Partially blocked nicely by Murray Barron, who gets it down the ice. And here comes Brian Propp out of the penalty box to give the North Stars a 2-man advantage for more than a minute. Modano back on the ice. Minnesota up 2 men. Propp lost it off his stick momentarily. Brian Propp being bothered by Zombo. Here's Bobby Smith back to Modano. Craig gives it to Modano. He shoots one. It went wide. Bellows to Craig. Again, Modano will shoot it. And it just deflected off the inside of Curtis Joseph's skate. Modano sets it up right in front. They score. Propp.
What a pretty goal. That's just great passing by the North Stars. Taking that long shot initially, what that did is it got the Blues players to come out and try and put a little bit more pressure on Modano, and he makes a great play. He doesn't waste any time at all. Just a quick pass. That's not a shot. A quick pass in front. Bellows just deflects it. He knew Propp was over on the other side, so he just deflected it over there. Joseph's got a little piece of it, but Propp was all alone. He had a wide open net, and he made no mistake at all to give the North Stars the lead.
And with Minnesota scoring the first goal of the first period, we have a winner with snapper. Kenneth Coleman of New Brighton is our winner. Congratulations to Kenneth Coleman on Brian Propp's power play goal. And for almost 2 minutes, the North Stars remain in the power play. Only one St. Louis Blue comes out of the box on that goal.
Well, that's just great passing by the North Stars. They did exactly what they wanted to do. When the shot was there, they took it. When they were pressured and not able to shoot, they moved it in deep and made just a great play.
Brian Propp, his 6th of the season from Brian Bellows and Mike Modano, as the Blues penalty killing now come back the other way. Still more than a minute of power play time for Minnesota. Bobby Smith straight up to center. Smith handling the puck now, turns it back. From the point, that shot grazed the goal post. Smith has it again and gets it back to Modano. Far side, here's Brian Glynn in the middle of the ice with his shot that didn't get to Joseph Norwood blocking it. Glynn couldn't keep it in, as that's offside at the St. Louis line.
The key to this goal here that the North Stars just scored was the fact that the Blues had players in deep, and as soon as the puck came back to Modano, he didn't waste any time at all. Now they're going to get control of the puck. Craig with a quick pass, but Modano with the quick pass, and there's Bellows right on the side of the net, and he wastes no time at all. A 2-on-1 in front. Zombo was the only defenseman back for the Blues, and the North Stars scored easily. Just a great passing play, very heads-up play.
Whether Brian Bellows was trying to shoot or pass didn't really matter. He knew he had to redirect the puck quickly and either get himself a goal or try for exactly what happened, a rebound or tip in by Brian Propp. And that, with a 2-man advantage, beats all those shots from the point for me, Joe. I think that's the percentage play to use your manpower advantage, and the North Stars did it perfectly that time.
Well, that makes it much more difficult for the goaltender as well.
Here's Broughton as the North Stars remain with a man advantage. Johnson's shot, rebound, Propp, another chance. And Joseph holds on this time.
That's a good save by Curtis Joseph. He's not only stopping the first shot, but he's having to stop the second shots as well. Brian Propp all alone, and with Joseph down, he tried to slide that puck underneath him. He just didn't have enough time to pull it back and try and get it over him. But Joseph, very quick. He's a very good athlete. Propp had a chance at his second goal of the evening, but Joseph hung in there and made a good save.
Propp will stay out there looking for another power play goal. Gagne on the draw will face Ron Sutter, Coach Brian's younger brother and Rich's twin brother. 30 seconds of power play time left. Aaron against Broughton for the puck in the corner, and the Blues defenseman shoots it around the boards and down the ice. Casey out to play it. North Stars challenge back of the goal. Nice play, Dave Lowry. And Lowry gets it to Oates. Now it is on a Minnesota stick as Broughton comes over the line. Neil Broughton with room, a shot, as the Blues seem to fade away from Neil Broughton. Blues back at full strength now, and do they look for the man coming out of the box? They did, but they couldn't get the puck to Gino Cavallini. He was serving the major penalty assessed to Kelly Chase. Cavallini now on the left side. Up by Glynn, following up for St. Louis is Murray Barron. But the North Stars are able to come out with Gavin. He gave it away, but it's offside at the blue line. 9:29 remaining, opening period, and Brian Propp has Minnesota in front 1-0. Blues, although penalties have a lot to do with that.
Well, they're getting themselves in those types of situations. So it seems like when things don't go well, everything goes bad, and that's what the Blues are finding themselves in early in the season.
In first periods, they have now been outscored 27 goals to 13. They almost got their 14th as Brown forced Casey to make a save. North Stars dump it out to Jeff Brown again. St. Louis is offside and has to clear the zone. Now play continues. Glynn on the right side as Dahlin was taken down.
And what the North Stars are certainly going to have to be aware of, though, Dave, is St. Louis doesn't quit. Even when they get behind, they keep coming hard. They play a hard game, especially in their own building. So the North Stars are going to have to remain sharp.
Well, they've had some good third periods, and we'll look at that when we get there. But St. Louis has 3 times this season tied games in the final minute of the third period. So their record could be 3 points worse than it is, but for 3 late goals to produce ties. They have tied 5 games this season and have won a couple more in overtime. Here's Adam Oates. Red Hull trailing, and the pass couldn't hit Hull. Here's Darian Hatcher coming back for the North Stars. Churla reaches for it. Blues sweep it around. Rich Sutter couldn't handle it. It's back in the other corner. Churla with a big run at Dominic Lavoie, who comes back at Shane Churla along the boards. They kick it loose. It's still loose, and Jeff Brown goes for it. Kept in. Dahlquist shot. Sailed high and wide. Lavoie again. Good forechecking pressure by Minnesota. Churla and Bureau and Brian Propp out with them. Here's Hull loose on the left side, and it's an offside pass to Brett Hull. 7:45 to go in this opening period as Minnesota continues to lead. Scores for you. The Islanders have upset the Rangers at the Nassau Coliseum by a 3-1 score, and this afternoon Winnipeg on a goal by Ed Olczyk beat New Jersey 1-0. The Devils went into that game with the best home ice record in the league, but it won't be that anymore. North Stars Craig from McRae and now to Gagne. Nice passing by Minnesota. Ludwig finds himself across the St. Louis line offside as Gagne stepped in front of Ludwig.
Craig Ludwig is certainly going to have his work cut out for him tonight. The problem when you play the St. Louis Blues for a defenseman is you have to watch. We talked about Brett Hull and Adam Oates. Anytime they're on the ice, you can't play a normal game because they float around. They tend to play their own types of games. You've always got to be looking behind you, backing up cautiously. So you have to play a different style of game as a defenseman when you come into this building.
No score after 1 period in Toronto. We'll keep you posted on what the Blackhawks and Maple Leafs are doing. Another Norris Division battle tonight at Maple Leaf Gardens. The Leafs haven't scored a goal since it was sunny and warm, I don't think. Garth Butcher back of the net. Takes the puck back from Rich Sutter. Modano thought about trying to intercept that and then got back as Casey comes out of his net around on the left wing boards to Bellows. He took a bump from Bob Basson. Basson came up with a puck, flipped it to the point, a shot from there, and it's right in front for Basson, who had 2 whacks at it and fired the second one wide. Rich Sutter allowed to walk right in. Casey beat him. And Broughton clears it out and over the line. And what a chance for Rich Sutter. Where did the defense go on that one?
Oh, twice, and just prior to that, Bob Basson had a couple of good chances with Casey there.
Modano was spilled as Bellows fired it in. Best scoring chance of the night for St. Louis, really the two best. Basson and Sutter both on Casey's doorstep. Modano couldn't get it over the line as the Blues' Lavoie slides it into Minnesota territory. Chris Dahlquist looks at the forechecking pattern, finds a teammate. That's Hatcher, who sends it back across the crease to Dahlquist. Loose now outside the line for Emerson, who couldn't hit Shanahan with it, and Zombo flips it far corner for Dahlquist. Gray bothered by Michel Mongeau, who falls down. Hatcher reaches in, gets the puck, gets it past Emerson, but Shanahan is there for St. Louis against Hatcher. And Broughton now safely just slides it out as the North Stars will take advantage of this to change lines. McRae lined up for a hit. He dumped Michel Mongeau. Now here's Barron around Ludwig. Shanahan far side. Two Blues, two North Stars along the boards. Shanahan fighting for it for the Blues. Craig digs it out for Minnesota, but not out of the zone. Casey now, he likes those assists that he got on Stu Gavin's goal and is playing the puck like that every chance he gets tonight.
He's looking for that breakaway pass.
Scoring lead among goaltenders is on John Casey's mind. Oates to Hull, speaking of scoring lead. Johnson to center ice, and Lee Norwood, the much-traveled Lee Norwood, shoots it back in. Hull is on the puck. Shot one and almost deflected in the short side. Casey leaving the post, but the puck was outside that goal post. Prop's long shot is tipped into the corner and into the glove of Curtis Joseph. Now here come the Blues with Hull. Intercepted by Prop. Following up, Churla. Churla hacks at Jeff Brown, and he'll get a penalty for it. Penalty to Shane Churla coming up. Blues take their time. Churla another hit as Norwood responds with a stick that doesn't land. Here's Lee Norwood. Now Christian at center with Oates. This might as well be the power play right here as Emerson just misses at the side of the net. And the Blues will go with the man advantage now as Churla gets called for slashing.
Report.
4:18 left and a chance for the Blues to tie it up.
Well, Shane Churla's game is to be aggressive, and every chance he gets, he's got to go after the man. That time he takes a couple of swings at Jeff Brown right behind the net with the puck. And right in the corner was referee Rob Schick, and he calls Churla for slashing. Last week's winning lotto numbers, 3 and 0.
Okay. What about 1 and 6 zeros?
Okay.
Neil Broughton as St. Louis Blues Lee Norwood does a pratfall at the blue line just off your screen. A few people chuckled, but I guess St. Louis fans want to make Lee Norwood feel at home. He was here once before, and so it doesn't bring a huge rise, but Norwood was just skating backwards, getting set for the faceoff, and could have hurt himself.
He hasn't skated much lately. He played in the game the other night against Winnipeg, and prior to that he hadn't skated in over a week.
Ron Sutter will take this faceoff against Neil Broughton. Broughton wins it. Ludwig hit in the corner by Lavoie, gets it up to Broughton, and he clears it down the ice. And Joseph, like Casey, is out to play it, but he'll leave it there for Lee Norwood. Norwood and Lavoie at the points. They missed Paul Cavallini in this power play. He should be back in about a week. One of the top defenders for St. Louis and a power play point man as well. Here's Ron Sutter to Norwood. Sutter again in the corner for Shanahan. Emerson is in front. Far side of the draw. Big shot. Deflected into the corner to Shanahan.
Yeah, he's got a great shot, Lavoie. The North Stars are going to have to pay some attention to him.
Here he is again. Getting it back to Norwood. His shot gets through to Casey, and Shanahan is there digging for the rebound. Casey covering up.
Oh, good job by Casey, as there was a lot of traffic in front, especially with Shanahan. He's a big guy that they acquired in the offseason, the free agent from New Jersey. And on the power play, he's going to be around the front of the net, as is little Nelson Emerson. But Ludwig lost his stick, and he's trying to defend Shanahan without a stick. He tried to dive in front of that shot and went by him, and Casey, with good concentration, holds on. Again, the shot from the point, and watch Ludwig. He doesn't have a stick, and there's Shanahan right in front. But a good job by Casey, not only making the first save, Dave, but actually more importantly covering up and not giving out a rebound, because Shanahan was right there waiting for it.
A minute 14 remaining in Churla's penalty, 3:32 left in the first period. Blues kick it loose and control the puck. Shot from the point by Brown, and Casey got his stick on that. Dahlquist bothered by Hull, who left it for Christian. Hull went down, and the fans don't like that. Hull again is up and getting it back to the point for Oates. Hull gets rid of that puck so fast, whether he's passing it or shooting it. He's usually shooting it. Another pass from Hull as they set it up right in front, and Casey tips it away. Hull again has it. Oates, Hull will shoot it. You don't often see them, and Brett Hull fired that one hard.
Two great plays by Alan Peterson. The first time sliding across and blocking the pass. The second time getting in the way of that shot by Hull.
Oates got over the line looking for Brown. Now he stops and goes back to the middle of the ice. Broughton right on him. Christian leaves it in the corner and tries to go get it himself. Hull is there. So is Gavin for Minnesota as the puck gets out for Broughton. He couldn't quite beat Brown to it. Blues of Oates on the right side. Christian behind him. Christian shot blocked by Ludwig. Christian again back to the goal. Here's Oates. And he felt Brett Hull there. Didn't really see him. Got it back though. Oates as it's tipped past Jeff Brown. A nice play by Broughton.
Excellent job by penalty killing by the North Stars.
Here's Bobby Smith trying to get around Zombo. Rides him out. Churla will help. And the Blues control it with Bob Basson. Up to Rich Sutter. Basson again. Looking for Dave Lowry on the left side. Defenseman Murray Barron will shoot it in. Basson has it. Shoots one, and a good stop by John Casey. As this line, Basson and Rich Sutter and Dave Lowry have had some of St. Louis's best chances. The Blues have been outshot in the period, but they're starting to catch up. It was 10-3 for Minnesota at one point, and the shot counter now shows 10-9.
This is a line, Dave, that played together the entire year last year. Basson with Lowry and Richie Sutter. And they work hard. They're always out there banging and trying to take advantage of the situation.
There's a penalty coming to the North Stars for sure for the hit that started all of this. Now, again, Rob Schick seemed to ignore what went on prior to the knock. But there will be more penalties than one. However, I think Minnesota may well be shorthanded with 1:28 left in the period.
He only called the one that was most obvious right in the middle of it all. I guess he thought that's what got everybody to come together. So Alan Peterson goes off.
And Ludwig with a big wind-up sends it into the neutral zone and provides a chance for Broughton and Gavin. Broughton sees Gavin, flips it to him, and he fires it wide. Might have been the North Stars' first shorthanded goal of the season, but Stu Gavin couldn't get the puck on the net. Here's Hull, right side. Checked off Brett Hull at the blue line. A nice job done by Gavin, who sends it down to the St. Louis line, and Oates comes back with less than a minute in the period. Here's Christian. Dave Christian. Puck on Oates' stick now. They just keep it in with Jeff Brown. Hull, and they attack Hull and Oates whenever they can. The North Stars putting extra pressure on them. Mongeau back of the net. Here's right in front for Oates, and they score from behind the net.
Well, Michel Mongeau is going to get credit for that, and that actually started off to be a pass. Christian tries to pass it through the crease, and it actually caught Casey, and he was off balance as he was going forward to play the pass. He got a piece of it. Mongeau was right there. His momentum was forward, and he just didn't have enough balance to cover the loose side. Mongeau just banks it right off his left leg and into the net.
He's a scoring whiz in the minor leagues, the International Hockey League to be exact, and Michel Mongeau now seemingly has a National Hockey League berth locked up, and that won't hurt as he scores a goal on a St. Louis power play to tie the game.
Well, he was brought up a few games back, and he's a little guy, but he's a very heady player. He's got a lot of savvy with the puck. He knows how to pass it, where to look. He's got a great understanding of the game. And I would say that goal, even though it looked cheap, he was probably trying to do that.
This period will end this way as the puck is lazily in the St. Louis zone. Oh, 3 seconds to go. They got to it in time for a face-off at the other end as icing is called on the North Stars, so we shouldn't presume that nothing more can happen in this period.
Well, and what Brian Sutter is probably going to want to do here with the face-off coming in the North Star zone is he'll get his #1 shooter, Brett Hull, back on the ice, and they'll try and win the draw straight back to him and let him shoot the puck and try and get a shot on goal here.
Well, Hull is, of course, on the ice, and a lot of talk between players now on both sides. Hull wants first to talk to Rob Schick, the referee. Ryan Sutter wanted something said to the referee, and Garth Butcher comes over and takes his seat on the bench as Sutter finds out exactly what the answer was. It doesn't seem to matter in terms of what's happening here as they get set for the face-off. 3 seconds remaining. Oates against Broughton. And the goaltender, Curtis Joseph, is still in the St. Louis net. Sometimes you'll see the goalie removed for an extra attacker. Hull waiting to see if Oates can win the draw to it. Linesman Jerry Pateman, being very particular, drops the puck. Hull got a shot away and it hit an ankle and didn't get to the net, but that's how quickly Brett Hull can fire it. Broughton and Pateman are now arguing with each other after the face-off as to who did what wrong.
Well, the North Stars come out of this tied after 1 period. They had a pretty good first period, but St. Louis came on and scored that late goal to tie this game and get right back in the game.
Prop for Minnesota, Mongeau for St. Louis. It's tied at 1 after 1 period. To play with that name and that style, but didn't turn out that way. New Jersey apparently not either. Brendan, what about St. Louis?
Well, St. Louis is a great place to play. You know, they've got great fan support in this town. We're the only sports team playing right now aside from the indoor soccer team, so there's a lot of support. We pack the place and the fans really get enthusiastic during the games. As
you contemplated this move, you had no way of knowing, of course, that Scott Stevens would wind up going the other way. Did the attractiveness of this move lessen at all because of the controversy that followed?
Well, you know, I wanted to play with Scott. I became friends with him in the Canada Cup tournament, but it certainly added a bit more pressure. What I was trying to do by coming to this team was help build a winner, and anytime you lose a Scott Stevens, it hurts, but we felt that we made some acquisitions afterwards that could help fill the void, and you know, we've got a lot of years of good hockey in front of us. We got some young guys coming up, and I just hope to be part of that. And all I can do is look forward to playing with the Blues and put Scott Stevens aside.
And did it help to be able to relate to him day to day during the Canada Cup while this was going on, do you think?
Well, it was a bit of an uncomfortable situation for both of us, and we were with each other through the entire arbitration time. We didn't feel that he'd be going to New Jersey, but as it turned out, he did. And really, we wanted to concentrate on the Canada Cup. You know the importance of the Canada Cup for us back home, and that was just something that he had to deal with at the time, and there wasn't much I could do except just loan my support.
Sometime this season you'll do an interview and Scott Stevens' name won't be mentioned. Sorry it wasn't this time, though. We thank you for this and good luck to you.
Thank you, Dave.
Brendan Shanahan of the St. Louis Blues, one of their high-priced free agent acquisitions. St. Louis and Minnesota are tied at 1 after 1 period.
Game.
Try to make him shoot from behind the line as Michel Mongeau did. Not many of those are going to go in, but one did to get the Blues even. Mongeau tying it up on a power play in the final minute after Brian Propp had put Minnesota in front. Nobody's in the penalty box to start this second period as Broughton chases Norwood back of the net. Rich Sutter fires it out to center. Glynn jumps up. Basson is right on the puck too. And the North Stars get Broughton loose in the neutral zone. Neil Broughton across the line. Nice pass to a trailing Al Peterson. His shot was deflected into the corner. Minnesota's Brian Glynn whacks at it and tries to keep it in. Cannot. Modano now shoots it far side. No North Star is there. And Norwood waits with it for St. Louis. Zombo up to Lowry, put it right on Brian Bellows' stick. He passed it right to Lee Norwood, and he'll lead a St. Louis rush. Lowry down the left side didn't have enough speed, and Brian Glynn turns back for Minnesota. Long pass up in the middle. It is deflected on Minnesota's side of the line, but there is no icing as Joseph touches the puck. Now the Blues tip it on to center. Here's Butcher looking for Emerson with speed down the left side. Back of the net as Emerson is hit hard in the corner. The North Stars come back with Ulf Dahlen. Straight down the left side, faking a shot. Dahlen going back of the net. Wrapping it around, or trying to. Emerson had it for the moment. Johnson shoots one wide. Dahlen is on the puck again. He's hit by Butcher. Right in front, Bobby Smith missed a great chance as the puck was given to him back of the St. Louis net, and Bobby Smith won't have a better chance than that. At least hasn't had one in this game. Here's Rich Sutter, or Ronnie Sutter rather.
And Dave, right after that, you know, Smith may have hit the post on it, but the puck came right to Gavin on the other side, and he had a great chance as well, and just took a little bit too much time. He had a wide open net.
Well, it had to surprise Curtis Joseph that Bobby Smith was there with a scoring chance, and maybe it surprised Bobby Smith. Here's Shanahan walking right in. He shoots and scores. No goal. They will wipe the goal out as Rob Schick is saying it doesn't count, and we'll have to wait and see why.
Well, Schick didn't waste any time at all making the call, and Brian Sutter is also waiting for an explanation on the Blues bench. And John Casey never saw that happen. Right on the shot. It's a great block by Ludwig.
Somebody in the crease, Joe. Rule 72B is being called against the Blues. It's the rule that so angered Minnesota against Pittsburgh a week ago. And this goal is not going to count. And St. Louis should also be getting a penalty.
Well, Garth Butcher wasn't pushed into the crease at all. He just skated right in from the slot. And Rob Schick makes the right call. We just saw that last Saturday night against Pittsburgh when the North Stars had a great chance to take a 2-goal lead against Pittsburgh.
Now the North Stars would love to have this rule changed, or at least its interpretation changed, but other than that, they like it called on other teams, and that's what's happened right here.
Well, the chairman of the board of the St. Louis Blues is also talking about his displeasure about that call right there, shaking his head. And the big argument about that, Dave, right now is that coaches around the league and chairmen and presidents, what they're saying is that there shouldn't be an interference call if it doesn't affect the play, if the player is not pushed in, or if it's not a situation where he really interferes with the play at all. They don't think it should be called.
They don't mind the goal being disallowed for somebody being in the crease, but clearly Butcher is not interfering with Casey on the play, and so the argument against the rule is that he should not receive a penalty. It's a double whammy. You lose a goal, and Minnesota could very well go back down to the other end and score one themselves, and that's exactly what happened to the North Stars against Pittsburgh. Minnesota led 2-1, appeared to have a 3-1 lead. Suddenly they had a penalty, and Pittsburgh tied it up on the power play and of course went on to win that game. So it can work both ways, and here it works to Minnesota's advantage, and the debate goes on about whether the rule should remain as such. Gagne is behind the net. Aaron working on him. Loose in the corner for Mike Modano. Modano again, and it was knocked off his stick, and here are the Blues with a 2-on-1 chance. Lowry, Ronnie Sutter trying to catch up as Lowry is stopped by John Casey. North Stars group on the power play again. Still more than a minute of penalty time to Butcher. Gagne leaves it for Mike Modano. Right side Bellows. Brian Bellows drops it and gets it back in the corner. Can't get to the puck though. Minnesota with Gagne turning and spinning. Here's Bellows behind the net. A pass when he might have been able to shoot Now Modano at the point. He winds up for the big shot, and he just missed. Bellows back of the goal. Gagne at the side. Bellows gives it to Gagne. He centered it. Here's Bellows right in front. Dahlin with a shot. It's almost there, but not quite, as Ulf Dahlin was robbed on Curtis Joseph's doorstep.
Well, that's a great save by Joseph. Dahlin had a great chance.
Bobby Smith was beaten to the puck by Rich Sutter. The puck remains in St. Louis territory. Now the Blues send it to the neutral zone. Modano on the left side for Bellows. He tries to beat Basson now, drops it back, but Rich Sutter was there to clear it for St. Louis.
Well, some great chances by the North Stars, but some great goaltending by Joseph as they put pressure on right around the net. Joseph goes down a lot, but he's got great reflexes.
Bobby Smith wide. A hack from Norwood, and the net is off as Minnesota's Basil McRae slides right into it, and he may be injured. Getting up slowly at least. Penalty over, and it's still tied. They played a scoreless first period to the Blackhawks and Maple Leafs, and now Hudson will deflect this one into the net, and Chicago leads, but the Leafs come back and tie it up on a goal by rookie Rob Pearson, who has the whole net to shoot at and ties it up. Our Stars win the draw. It's McRae around Oates. McRae still with it. Stepped in front. Now it to the corner again. Basil McRae doing it himself. Our Stars keep the puck in. This is Churla. He centered it. No North Star was there, and back to center goes Al Peterson.
That's a good job of forechecking by the North Stars. Those are the types of things that if they do that well tonight, they'll have a lot of chances on the Blues.
Dave Christian making moves, still with the puck. Glynn is hit by Norwood. Back of the goal, it's Oates. Norwood got it back to the point. Brown, a big shot, is deflected right in front by Oates, but deflected over the net. Here's Oates again. Rolled off his stick. Norwood will fire one as a penalty is coming up as Casey makes a big stop on Adam Oates. There'll be a holding call against Minnesota as Rob Schick continues the penalty parade.
Brett Hull on one side and Dave Christian on the other side. All three very good offensive players. And when they get a little room to move the puck and skate in the offensive zone, it's very difficult to defend against a line like that. And this time Alan Peterson ends up getting caught for holding as he pulled down Dave Christian off to the other side of the net after Adam Oates had a good chance deflecting that shot high and over the net.
Blues scored on the power play in the final minute of period one and are now trying to do it again to take the lead. On Sutter off the draw to Brown. Emerson into the corner. Shanahan could not control it. Casey shot it, but not out. Emerson, the rookie, Minnesota's number 7, Broughton, is battling him. Shanahan flipped it, and it is not held in by Brown. It was Brendan Shanahan who thought he had the Blues into a 2-1 lead, and the penalty to Butcher wiped out the goal. Here's Shanahan to Oates. Emerson goes for it. Back of the goal are 2 Blues, and they don't need 2 back there. Here's Ron Sutter to Brown at the point. Back to Ron Sutter. Jeff Brown will pass it in. Emerson just about tipped it in. A nice try by Brown and Emerson, and that's what they were trying to do. Here's a check by Ron Sutter. Here's loose in front. Emerson, it's loose. It's in.
Going to wish he had this opportunity again, as he had great control of the puck, and instead of clearing it down with being a man short, instead of clearing it down the ice, he tries to beat Ron Sutter. Ron Sutter breaks it up, and Shanahan with the pass. Now Emerson is all alone in front. Casey goes out and makes a good play, but he can't control the loose puck, and Emerson stayed right with it, and he had the wide open net. But Neil Broughton had a great chance to clear it down the ice. Instead of doing that, he tried to stick handle by Ron Sutter, and it ends up in his own net and the St. Louis lead.
Shanahan spotted Emerson, and it was Ron Sutter who made it all possible by stripping Neil Broughton of the puck at the Minnesota line. Well, it's another power play goal for the Blues. We did say that if they were to win this game, they had to get a dormant power play awake and scoring goals, and they've done that twice already. All the goals in the game have been power play goals. Casey had the right idea had he been able to trap the puck. Whistle would have blown, but he could not control it, and Emerson, for whom the pass was intended originally, hacked it into the net.
Well, I'm sure Bob Gainey is, we talked before the game about the success that his special teams have had. Both the power play and the penalty killing units have played very well. And even tonight, the job that they've done killing penalties, they've held the Blues down in shots, but just both those goals, one from behind the net and this last one, I think both of those could have been prevented.
Rookie Nelson Emerson has his 6th goal of the season. Here's Bellows with a pass from Modano. Bellows shot one wide. Joseph played it anyway. Modano whacking at it, and out come the Blues with Zombo up to Murray Barron, 2 rushing defensemen for St. Louis. Casey came out of the net to play it, but didn't. And Modano now far side. Here's Bellows in a race with Zombo. Bellows cutting in a backhand, and a good glove save by Joseph, who holds it with Modano right there. Blues lead for the first time in the game. 13:30 remaining, second period.
It's only the second time in the last 11 games that the St. Louis Blues have played with a lead.
Well, that's a big problem when you never have the lead. It's no wonder the Blues are 10 points behind last season's pace, which of course led them to second place overall. And being 10 points behind at this stage, you would think it's unlikely that St. Louis would be able to duplicate last year's finish. But the Norris division remains wide open, as Chicago is also quite inferior to last year at this time. And the Detroit Red Wings, in fact, are right up with Chicago, tied for top spot. Gagne just missed as he fires one wide. Gagne hit Lavoie, got the puck loose to Prop, and he looked to see if he should pass or shoot, and the puck wasn't there any longer. Here's Gino Cavallini. Basson is with him. Basson heading straight for the net. Cavallini decided to shoot it. Peterson bumps Basson into the boards. Here's Cavallini around the net. And the North Stars flip it out and down the ice.
And that's good defense by the North Stars. Even though the Blues had the puck and had control for 10 to 15 seconds in the North Stars zone, the North Stars positionally played very well and prevented a scoring opportunity.
With a shot that is in Johnson's pads, and he didn't know it for a minute. Johnson played with it behind the net. Now it's Dahlin who flips it, but not out and now. It gets out off the skate of Christian to Lee Norwood. Norwood far side. Oates races in after it. Johnson is there behind the goal, and Oates is on him. North Stars come out the left side. Bobby Smith looking on the right wing for Gavin. Shoots it instead to the other side. Flipping it out is Brown. Didn't get out. Backhand try by Gavin didn't make it to Joseph, and it's out in the center zone for Ludwig. Play slowing down here. Craig Ludwig left side for Bobby Smith, and everybody else is changing, so he dumps it in. This is Hull loose at center. Oates got knocked off stride by the linesman, or he would have been in a position to take a pass from Brett Hull. Take help any way you can get it, say the North Stars. Lee Norwood touches the puck for icing with 11:31 remaining, and coincidentally or not, the play has slowed down considerably since the Blues took the lead. Simply the arena here in St. Louis. Fans eager for some revenge, small though it might be, for the Blues against Minnesota. Remembering the playoff series of last year, the North Stars did beat 3 teams in the playoffs, and there's still another one they haven't played yet this season. That's Edmonton. So far, Chicago's still looking for some form of revenge, as they've been unable to beat the North Stars in 3 tries this season. Here are the Blues with Shanahan. He just missed. Here's another one. And John Casey doing acrobatics in his crease, as Shanahan and Ron Sutter had great scoring chances.
Yeah, they really did, but Casey's always trying to poke check that puck anytime it's around the net. Shanahan made a good play and just actually slipped it wide of the far post.
Emerson, who has the go-ahead goal, knocks it loose. Casey going to come out and play it again. Didn't work the last time. Didn't work this time. Easy goal for Ron Sutter.
able to go up the boards, and when he turned back the other way, he didn't realize that there was a blue coming behind him. He gets control, he tries to get it out, and he looks the other way, and there's nothing he can do, and just tries to flip it up the side, ends up putting it right on Ron Sutter's stick. And that's as easy a goal as Ron Sutter will ever score.
So 2 forays away from the goal crease by John Casey have produced, in one way or another, St. Louis goals. Directly produced at that time. Casey was unlucky the first time as he came out to try to challenge Emerson, but Nelson Emerson has been in on 2 of those plays. Scored a goal and helped set that one up.
He's been one of their best players thus far, just a rookie, but he's got great offensive ability, great speed. They played him on the wing, at center, both wings I should say, and he's been a real factor for the St. Louis Blues team.
Rookie out of Bowling Green, and last year at Peoria in the International League. In fact, Emerson and Michel Mongeau were stars as Peoria won the International League title, and here they all each have a goal here tonight, and Emerson has a second point with his assist on that goal by Ron Sutter. Now, do you think they should give assists on that goal?
No, on that goal, I don't think they do. I mean, easily Casey has control of the puck, and he puts it right on Ron Sutter's stick. I mean, there should not be any assists.
Mike Craig fights for the puck. He's taken down. No call, and here come the Blues with a 2-goal lead now. Casey plays this one to Craig Ludwig. Prop left it for Johnson. He's rushing with Churla and Broughton. Johnson continues behind the net, and he'll have to retreat now as Ryan Prop takes up the forechecking chores. Prop got it loose. Churla turned with a shot. It was in Prop's skates right near the net, but he couldn't handle it. Now let's have another look at the way the Blues made it 3-1. John Casey comes out, and Joe, we know what he did. What should he have done?
Well, he tried the first time to go up the boards, and Emerson made a good play. And that time, instead of going right to the net, he should have gone back to the board.
Continues to do it in a Chicago uniform, and the Blackhawks lead 2-1 at Toronto. Hawks blanked the Leafs 3-0 at home earlier in the week. Joseph a save off the draw, and the Blues wrap it right down to Casey at the other end. Bobby Smith flips it. Nobody really going for it. Now Gavin is underway, but held up by Brown. And that's going to produce an icing. Stu Gavin couldn't get around Jeff Brown, who managed to get back and draw the icing against the North Stars with 9:10 left, second period.
And this game has been all 3 goals that the Blues have scored. They've all been strange goals. The one from behind the net, then these last 2 where Casey gets caught out of the net. And yet, the best chances the North Stars have had is when they've been able to put some pressure on the Blues defense. Get the puck in deep, go after him, start forechecking him hard. And we've seen it a couple of times here tonight that the North Star players have been left all alone in front of goalie Curtis Joseph, and Joseph has had to come up with great saves.
But the Blues can be happy that they're not giving the North Stars nearly as many shots as they've been giving teams in the past. In fact, the Blues 15 straight times have allowed their opponents 30 or more shots in a game, and to this point the North Stars have only 13. So the Blues just might be able to hold a team under 30 tonight, and that might have a lot to do with their victory if they get it. Here's Brown. Shot was deflected. Modano for Minnesota. Pass right on a Blues stick. Basson shoots one. There's the puck loose. Lowry missed an open net. Casey looking for it again. He made another save and another one. And now it's loose back of the Minnesota goal. Great action around John Casey, and another giveaway resulted in all of that.
Well, the North Stars have given the puck away a couple of times tonight, and that's led to a few of the other goals.
Basson tried to continue it. Now Lowry will for St. Louis. Basson has it in his skates, and Lowry tipped it further into the Minnesota zone. Casey's out again. Play for Modano, who's taken down, and no call by Schick, who looks right at him, isn't even worrying about where the puck is, as Mike Modano and Rob Schick stared at each other for 4 or 5 seconds after that occurred. Ron Sutter with a shot that went wide, and Modano, somewhat in disgust, ices the puck. And Schick is still looking at Modano and the Minnesota bench.
What's new, pussycat?
Another look at John Casey, and it is going to be your last look at him tonight as the North Stars are making a goaltending change.
Well, he's had trouble tonight. He's lost sight of the puck a few times. He's been down a lot, and the puck's been bouncing around, and he's just having a difficult time controlling that puck and holding on to it. So at this time, Coach Bob Gainey decides to put Darcy Wakaluk in goal for the North Stars.
North Stars bench was very upset with Rob Schick's failure to call a penalty when Modano was taken down, and the North Stars had him earlier this season in a game at Toronto when Mike Craig had what might have been a game-tying goal in the stick with 11 or 12 seconds remaining and was tackled by Toronto's Claude Lozelle. No call that time by Schick. This time he's not the most popular referee with Minnesota either. So Darcy Wakaluk replaces John Casey. 13 shots for Minnesota, 26 for the Blues, and how that's changed. Now they changed it to 19. They've had pressure, but not quite that much. Well, let's see if the goaltending change sparks anything at the other end and helps the North Stars defensively as well. McRae at a scoring chance. Joseph doesn't have the rebound yet. Now Schick blows the whistle and everybody grabs a partner, but Curtis Joseph has been very good in close at preventing rebounds, and North Stars have had a lot of pressure on him, but the puck has not often been loose. Play underway again in the St. Louis zone as Ulf Dahlen races for it and gets it wide of the net. Far corner for Shanahan of the Blues. He doesn't get it out. Now he does as Gagne had a chance to keep it in. Hatcher fires it back into the Blues zone, and it comes out again quickly. Here's Ron Sutter on Dahlquist. Shanahan trails the play. Hatcher trying to take him out. Blues keep it in with Lavoie. His shot was blocked. They try to break Dahlen, but he had to hold up as the North Stars didn't have control of the puck, and now they shoot it into the St. Louis zone. Christian back in the St. Louis goal. Leaves it for Lavoie.
This game just hasn't had a lot of flow. I don't think the North Stars have really got into their game yet. Even the times when they're able to dump the puck in the St. Louis zone, they're getting held up by the Blues. The Blues are doing a good job of holding them up. They're not getting any momentum going on the forecheck.
Icing against the North Stars, some pushing and shoving after that. It's probably fair to say that in terms of scoring chances created strictly by offensive play, Minnesota has had the better chances. The three St. Louis goals don't reflect anything that they've done offensively.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, the 3 goals, I don't know if you want to call them cheap, even though they're ahead by a couple here. But the North Stars have had the best chances when they have put pressure on offensively, and St. Louis really hasn't gotten into their game either. But when you've been struggling somewhat, you try and concentrate a little bit more on the defensive aspects of the game. And so give St. Louis credit for doing a good job in the neutral zone, standing up and really not letting the North Stars get going.
Rob Schick calling one penalty in the exchange back of the St. Louis goal line, and it is to Rick Zombo of the Blues, who came here in a trade from Detroit for goaltender Vincent Riendeau. And a lot of people's eyebrows were raised when the Blues traded a goaltender to another team in the Norris division. You don't often see teams within the division trading, and certainly not goalies. And Riendeau wasn't active for Detroit too long before he was injured, and he hasn't played since.
Well, what they decided to do is end up putting a lot of pressure on the 2 goalies that the Blues have now, Curtis Joseph, as you mentioned, and Pat Jablonski. Going into this year, Joseph had only played in 45 regular season games, and Pat Jablonski had only played in 12. Not too much experience there.
Well, Joseph has been a big factor for the Blues, certainly here tonight, and a lot of people will tell you he's simply been the Blues' best player this season.
He's a great athlete, and one of the things the North Stars have to do with the chances they've had tonight, they've shot the puck down low. You have to shoot high because Joseph goes down a lot.
Bellows in the corner in the Minnesota power play, and there's a shot wide. Gagne with a chance, open net, missed it. Joseph still down, the puck still loose, but Dave Gagne reached it in front of the net, and he couldn't get it in.
They've had 3 or 4 chances like that tonight. Even though there's 5 minutes left to go in this second period, if they keep plugging away this way and keep getting those chances, there's a long way from this game being over with.
Bellows has it in his skates, dropped it for Broughton to the side of the net. A nice deflection by Gagne, but Joseph was there for that one. Here's Bellows to Broughton. Bellows gets it back. Again low to Gagne, who tried to get it in front. He still got it. Gagne around in front of the net, and he whipped it through the crease. No shot there. Here's Glynn faking a drive. Bellows to Broughton, and it went over his stick, or perhaps under it, as the pass was not along the ice. Bellows again at the blue line to Broughton. He'll attack right in the middle, leaving it for Dahlin. Dahlin whipped it right around the boards. Bellows waits for it. Kept it loose, but the Blues will shoot it around the other side. They can't get it out, however. Dahlin along the boards. Less than half a minute to go in the penalty. Gagne and Bellows near the net. Bellows will go to the corner. Faked the shot, gave it to Gagne. He's been there throughout the power play with one great scoring chance and a couple of others. Bellows with a shot, and Joseph is there for that one.
Good puck control by the North Stars, so a good job of getting some opportunities.
Modano, and he didn't get all of that. Here's Dahlin's chance. Joseph stopped it as it rolled through the crease and through the skates of Lee Norwood. No harm done to the Blues on that one, as the power play for Minnesota is over.
Dave, I still like the momentum of this game, though, with the North Stars trailing by a couple of games. I like the momentum. I like the way they're starting to pick up play, and it looks like the Blues are starting to get a little flustered in their own zone.
Basil McRae will get to this puck first. McRae waited, took a hit. There was nobody to pass it to, so he continued the fight. Hatcher moving in. Couldn't get a shot. Darian Hatcher still with it. Still back at that goal line. It went off the skate of Schick, and now to Hatcher. He shoots. Joseph with another stop. That's loose in the crease again as the Blues can't get it out of there. Joseph another stop as McRae and Butcher battle in front of the net, and Schick blows the whistle. Basil McRae and Garth Butcher went at it in the second minute of play in this game, and they do again.
Get the puck up a little bit, Dave. He would have scored.
Just like that, the North Stars have regained the lead in shots on goal. They've had about 7 in a row now without one from the Blues on Darcy Wakaluk. And do you think the goaltending change has had anything to do with lifting the North Stars at the other end?
Well, I think it can. He may not have listed Casey because of the way he was playing, but just to get a break and try and change the momentum of this game somewhat.
Nelson Emerson, who's been big for St. Louis tonight, leaves it. Shanahan's backhand is stopped. Emerson was there looking for the rebound. Emerson, the rookie, and Shanahan both have been prominent. Here's Shanahan from the corner to Emerson. It was in his skates, and Churla for the North Stars knocks it to Gavin. Stu Gavin fired it in, and Shanahan around on the boards for Emerson, who's waiting at center. Emerson shot it in. As we have less than 3 minutes remaining in the second period, the Blues have scored the only 2 goals of this period. Zombo to the corner, Ludwig for Minnesota. He shot it straight up the ice to center and Norwood for the Blues. Christian got it. Waits, and Dave Christian will stick handle and move with it. Now to Oates. Ball is on the ice, but Churla's got it for Minnesota. Churla tried to flip it in, didn't get it very far as Norwood. To Jeff Brown. He just dumped it to center ice. North Stars look to carry on some of that pressure again as McRae gets it over the line. It is onside, but the North Stars can't keep it in there. McRae goes down in the St. Louis zone, and the fans like that. Basil McRae tried to line up Brown. He got a bit of a hit and turned the puck over. Craig with a shot, and off the shoulder, Joseph has got it. And just as importantly, pounces on that rebound once again. Saturday at the Met, same 2 teams. North Stars record within the division coming into this game was second in the league only to Washington, and the Capitals haven't lost as the North Stars flip one in.
Well, that's what we've been talking about. lots of pressure on the Blues defense, and that time the Blues had control of the puck in their end, and they turned it over. Dominic Lavoie from behind the net ends up overhandling it. The North Stars with good pressure, forechecking, getting a stick on a man, slowing things down, and finally Brian Propp is going to end up with the shot, but Lavoie tries to pass it, a blind pass behind his back. He ends up losing it. Dahlin picks it up, and the shot is taken by Propp. It actually deflects off the defenseman and then off of Joseph and behind him. Actually, that shot would have missed the net, but the North Stars put themselves right back in this game, and they should continue to try and put that pressure on right here.
Great play by Dahlin as Lavoie had a couple of chances to get rid of the puck, and the North Stars kept hounding him. Dahlin with the big assist, and Brian Propp has scored twice here tonight after his 2-goal performance against Toronto. Lowry shot one. Rebound for Basson, and Wakaluk decides to hold that one with Lowry looking for a rebound.
Well, the North Stars have had a lot of chances in this last 4 to 5 minutes of this second period. Again, the key is to put a lot of pressure on the Blues defense. Anytime there's not a play in the neutral zone, dump it in and go after them. And the Blues trying to make some plays. Dominic Lavoie has it, overhandles it. Dahlin picks it up, a good pass to Propp, and again, Propp didn't get all of it, but it deflected off of Garth Butcher and then off of Joseph and into the net.
Apparently they've credited the assist to Shane Churla, but obviously it was Ulf Dahlin that set up Brian Propp for Minnesota's second goal. He's got one in each period now, and the North Stars are even in shots on goal with St. Louis at 22 apiece.
But again, now the key is, Dave, in the last minute and a half, play good, solid defensive hockey in your zone and continue to work and wait for the chances.
Dahlin working for it at the Minnesota line. There's a delayed offside for the moment. Now the Blues clear the zone. They tried a breakaway pass to Dahlin, and it went over his head and out of bounds. Incomplete.
Last year's Coach of the Year in the National Hockey League, Brian Sutter. What a great start they got off to last year and just sailed through the league, finishing second overall with 105 points. This year's been a little bit different. They've decided to make a lot of changes, and a lot of those changes Brian Sutter wanted to make. He, along with Ron Caron, they got rid of a lot of players, brought in some new players, and this has been a much different team this year than we saw last year.
There's 24 players in last season's playoffs, and 10 of them are gone. Dahlin looking for Bobby Smith, couldn't lead him far enough with a pass, and the Blues with Adam Oates beaten to it by Johnson. Ludwig looks up the ice and now drops it to Propp. He flips it in for Dahlin. Dahlin against Christian. Dahlin centering it. There was Propp with a chance for 3, and he had it roll through his skates. Here's Murray Barron for the Blues as that puck is knocked into the stands with 35 seconds remaining. Almost a hat trick for Brian Propp.
Yeah, and again, a North Star player left all alone in front of the net. The Blues play a style of play where they like to have their men follow somebody around to take them out of the play. When they get a stick on somebody, they like to just go with them all the way to the boards. And what that does is it takes them out of position a lot of times. And if you have someone following up the play late, you'll see the middle of that area right around the net be wide open. And a great chance for Propp right there. The puck just bouncing a little bit, bounced over his stick.
Well, the Blues scored in the final minute of the first period, and the North Stars don't want to let that happen again. This faceoff with 35 seconds remaining in the neutral zone. Brian Propp with both Minnesota goals tonight, and 3 strange St. Louis goals have been credited to Michel Mongeau, Nelson Emerson, and Ron Sutter. Mike Craig flips it backhanded into the St. Louis zone. Joseph didn't quite know what to do with it as the North Stars put some pressure on him. It's along the boards, dug out by Norwood to Ron Sutter. Brown moves up. Hull is with him, and Hull just flipped it on in for Jeff Brown. Hatcher's against him. Ron Sutter continues the battle. Less than 10 seconds to go. Hatcher. Interference penalty is being called as Minnesota takes a penalty with 6 seconds remaining in the period as Brett Hull was taken down rounding the net.
Well, he was going in to try and forecheck, and Chris Dahlquist, the other defenseman, was trying to just interfere with Hull a little bit. Somewhat of a soft call with Darian Hatcher handling the puck, but either way, with 6 seconds left, Dahlquist goes off, and a big face-off in the North Star zone.
Only 6 seconds remaining, and St. Louis will have a man advantage. Not the way the North Stars wanted to begin the third period, with a man in the penalty box, especially the way they've closed out this second period.
Well, here's where they've got to win a face-off here. They've got to win a big face-off, keep the puck away from Brett Hull. Hull will line up on the point, and they'll just try and get the puck and let him walk right into it to take the shot.
He almost had a scoring chance from a face-off with 3 seconds remaining in the first period. They did get it on his stick, and he did get it off the stick. Of course, it takes a 1/10 of a second for that to happen. So let's see if the Blues can win a draw. Maggio will take the draw, and Brett Hull will be positioned to try to get a shot on Darcy Wakala. The suspense kills. Your turn to say something, Joe.
He looked like he was going to drop it. He faked a couple of times. I know it's an important face-off, but let's get the puck dropped here.
Not if the puck is never dropped. Adam Oates moves in now for St. Louis. Stu Gavin for Minnesota. And they win it to Hull. There's a shot, and Wakala has to make a great stop. And that's how easily the Blues can do it when Brett Hull on the ice, if they can win the draw. And didn't he get a good shot, too?
Well, he got a great shot, and Wakala came up with really his best save of the period after not warming up. But I like the North Stars' chances. I thought that they, in the last half of this period, when they finally got things going, they controlled the period.
They'll have to kill a penalty starting the third period. They go to the dressing room after 2, down by 1.
Rat Mike discovered gold. It got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came downstream, it got a little better. And when reinforcements of Old Milwaukee arrived, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
It's live. You're not watching a replay of the first period. John Casey is back in goal for Minnesota to start this third period.
Well, this game right here, this third period, I really firmly believe that the North Stars are going to come back and win this game from what we've seen up to this point. 3 cheap goals on Casey, but the North Stars know that if they get the puck in deep and put some pressure on, that they're going to get chances. Now, when they get their chances, they have to shoot high on Curtis Joseph. He's down on the ice. He's sprawling around. They've got to get the shots up high.
Speaking of shots, it took Brett Hull till the final seconds of the second period to get his first shot on goal in this game, and it was a dandy. Darcy Wakaluk making a big save. Wakaluk now back on the bench after making that stop, and John Casey has returned to the Minnesota goal. To start this third period, Blues, of course, are on a power play. They dig the puck loose for Shanahan. Here's Hull, and Casey comes back with a wallop, robbing Brett Hull. Or Adam Oates it was that took the shot, I guess.
And the interesting thing about this Blues power play is that Brett Hull is not on the ice. He's sitting on the bench.
Looked like a Hull shot.
Adam Oates with the shot, Casey with the glove, and he had to look in his glove to see if he had that puck.
Well, that'll make John Casey feel a lot better. Adam Oates with a big chance to restore St. Louis's 2-goal lead. 1:25 remaining in Chris Dahlquist's penalty. We're checking to see if Hull's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
But not on the ice. Ron Sutter, Brendan Shanahan, Nelson Emerson, the best Blues line tonight. Not much question of that. Here's Emerson. He shoots one, and it didn't get to Casey. Hatcher plays it to the corner. Emerson again. To the point for Norwood. Emerson gets it again. Norwood winds up and shoots it. Didn't get to Casey. Emerson turns again. Norwood will try it one more time, and that one skipped wide. many times do they want to try that? Here's Oates at the other point. His shot was off the skate of Bellows into the other corner. Bureau with a chance to get it out for the North Stars, and he does.
Well, it's pretty obvious what the Blues are trying to do here, and I'm sure they talked about it between periods. Get the puck back to the point and let them shoot.
Now Hull's on the ice. His pass not handled by Adam Oates. Brown shoots it in. Half a minute to go in the Minnesota penalty to Dahlquist, and Gavin shoots the puck into the St. Louis zone. Joseph watches Neil Broughton come in after Adam Oates, and so Joseph clears it around Mongeau. Michel Mongeau is stripped of the puck by Neil Broughton, and the North Stars have 15 seconds to kill now.
Well, this would be a big lift for the North Stars to get this penalty out of the way and get back to work.
Well, it's a necessity, you'd think, if they hope to come away with something in this game, and they are just about to have done that. Here is Christian back of the net to Hull. He put it out front, but Gavin is there, and Stu Gavin gets it to Dahlquist, who tried to hit Neil Broughton at center ice. Goes all the way down the ice, and so the North Stars go back into their own zone for a face-off, but they're back at full strength with 17:54 remaining. The St. Louis Blues, just before the face-off is about to take place, will send on new defensemen Garth Butcher and Dominic Lavoie, replacing Rick Zombo and Murray Barron. And the North Stars control it in their own zone and try to bring it the other way. Brian Propp, a nice pass at center to Dahlin, and Lavoie made a nice play on Dahlin.
That was an excellent play by Lavoie, as Dahlin had a step on him and actually then tried to drop the pass to a teammate, but a good play by Lavoie.
Casey leaves it for Brian Glynn. Christian watching him. Glynn a left wing pass to Propp, who was both Minnesota goals. Brian Propp tried to hit Dahlin, and Al Peterson has to go back for it for Minnesota. Very deliberate, both teams, in their breakouts and also in their forechecking. Hatcher intercepted Butcher's pass, had no forward going for it, and so just dumped the puck into the St. Louis zone, and new forwards come on for the North Stars. Craig is one of them. He whacked at Basson and knocked him off stride. Left wing pass for Gagne. It hit his stick, so no icing is called. Joseph around on the boards. Craig stops it. Can't control it. Basson behind the St. Louis net to Butcher. Hull's pass didn't connect. Craig shot it back in. Butcher out slowly for St. Louis. A pass behind his breaking forward Basson. But Butcher kept on the pressure on Mike Craig, who couldn't make a play with that chance. And now the Blues shoot it to center ice. Blues haven't lost a third period lead this season. They haven't had too many of them, mind you, but they are unbeaten when leading after 2 periods of play. And the fans clamoring for some action here, but the Blues are a little more intent on keeping the 1-goal lead, you'd think, than trying to get another one. Here's Hull. Drop pass. Goal post was hit. Lowry another chance. Casey got that one and has to scramble to pick up his goal stick. Blues keep it in. Oates to Hull. Lowry couldn't get that with his skate, but it's still St. Louis control. Hull was coming out, but he didn't touch the puck, and North Star did, so it's okay. Oates shot at the side of the net. There's another giveaway as Zombo got to it just in time for the Blues, but he couldn't control it. Bellows beaten to the puck by Zombo. Here are the Blues again with Oates. To Hull. Shot. Didn't get much on that. He got it away quickly. Emerson fighting with Modano for it. Zombo kept it in. Zombo to Emerson. He centered it, and the North Stars still don't get it out. Barron to the far corner, and now Modano has a chance to get rid of it and does. And a nice pass to Broughton. He leaves it for Propp. Ryan Propp, far side, 2 men going to the net now, but he couldn't hit either one. Here's Dahlin. Kept it on the boards. Ulf Dahlin with some room. Great work along the boards by Dahlin. Zombo tries to ride him out. Dahlin still with it with a chance, a shot, and Joseph will hold on. Great work by Ulf Dahlin.
A great chance for the Blues as he walked in and ended up getting a backhanded shot off the post. And then the North Stars were able to come back down. And what a play by Ulf Dahlin as he was able to hang on to the puck. He had it in his skates. He showed a lot of strength. He went all the way around the net, was able to walk back out in front of the net. Curtis Joseph went down, and Dahlin couldn't get the puck up. He just slid it along the ice, and Joseph made the save.
Face off to the left of Curtis Joseph. Ron Sutter against Dave Gagne. Puck loose along the boards. North Stars dig it free to Churla. He tries to get it back at the goal and does, but there's no help for Shane Churla there, so Norwood brings it out for the Blues. To Emerson on the right side. He hit Al Peterson in the face with it, and Peterson goes down quickly, and there's a St. Louis player injured as well, Norwood. But he's not as badly hurt as Al Peterson, who took it right in the face off the St. Louis stick. The Blues are complaining that Norwood took a high stick, and there should be a penalty called in the play.
Well, Al Peterson's going to head straight to the North Star dressing room to get fixed up. And meanwhile, referee Rob Schick looks like he's just going to let things as they are, and the faceoff will come outside of the North Star zone. But this third period, we've played a little over 5 minutes now, and there really hasn't been any flow at all. And it's kind of been the way the game has gone, Dave. Neither team has really been able to get anything going on a consistent basis. We've seen spurts by both teams at times and flurries around the nets at times, but nothing on a consistent basis. And this really should fit into a road type game for the North Stars if they can just generate a little bit of momentum here. Again, the Blues are not playing very well in their own zone, and with a little momentum and some pressure on the Blues defensemen, the North Stars will get their chances.
Well, the Blues continue their discussion about a possible penalty against the North Stars for clipping Lee Norwood, but he's still out there and they're not going to call anything. So 14:28 remaining and each team at full strength.
And Norwood should be a player that the North Stars continue to put pressure on, because, as I mentioned earlier, he hasn't skated much in the last 10 days, and late in the game he could get fatigued.
He's got the puck now, Lee Norwood. Second turn as a St. Louis Blue. He was here earlier in his career for one season, and arguably it might have been his best season in the National Hockey League, and the Blues would like to get that sort of play from Lee Norwood again. He's been with 3 teams already this season. Now that does make you well-traveled.
Well, he asked to get traded when he was in New Jersey because of all the defensemen there, and they obliged him by sending him to Hartford, and he was injured somewhat and didn't get much of a chance to play before this latest deal.
Shanahan at the St. Louis line. Passes it to himself, and he still got it. Brendan Shanahan gives it off to Emerson. He's hit along the boards, and it comes loose to Glynn, who wants to start an attack. Brian Glynn from Minnesota straight to center ice, flips it in, but he does it too quickly. Icing called as the Blues touch it, and Brian Glynn needed one more stride to hit that center line before he shot it in. This way, the faceoff comes back into the North Star zone.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Bobolum was wrong, because when a crate of lobsters fell from the sky, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team dropped by, it got a little better. And when an old Milwaukee truck showed up, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
13:34 remaining in the third period. Brett Hull is on the ice, and so opposite him is Basil McRae. From time to time, the North Stars coach Bob Gainey has chosen to use McRae against Hull, and Brett Hull, I wouldn't say, is on his game tonight, so maybe Basil McRae gets a bit of credit for that. He is seen talking to Brett Hull as they skated out. Now he's chatting with Butcher, and they've come together a couple of times too. Basil McRae, the disturber. Garth Butcher serves that role for the Blues and is also the St. Louis captain. Ludwig out at the St. Louis line, waiting for Craig to get onside. Shot it in, and Craig Ludwig goes after it for the moment. Now drops back. Behind the net, it's Butcher for St. Louis. Right in front of the net, and the Blues almost put it into their own net.
Adam Oates tried to clear it and put it in front. Curtis Joseph made a great save on it.
A rolling puck forces Casey to make the stop. Otherwise, icing would have been called against the Blues. 13 minutes remaining. The North Stars have only one third period shot. Ludwig missed Gagne. Butcher at the St. Louis line. Got it to Hull. He found Christian loose on the left side but couldn't get him the puck. Christian against Johnson in the corner. Gagne to help out. It comes loose to Oates. Oates to Hull. Quick shot. Stopped by the defenseman. Hull again shoots, and Casey made the stop that time. It was Craig Ludwig who's shaken up, stopping Brett Hull's shot.
That puck was rolling, and Brett Hull he got that quick shot off, but with a rolling puck, it ended up going straight up, and Ludwig caught that right in the neck.
Broughton sent it in for the North Stars. Joseph off the backboards. It came back a little too close to the goal, but no damage was done. Christian had it knocked off his stick at center ice. Cautiously out come the Blues. Zombo, where's he going to go with it? To Barron and up the left side as the fans again ask for some action. Casey to the corner for Modano, and he'll turn, and if he gets room, he'll go with it. He passes the puck up to Bellows. Could not handle it, and it's sent back into the Minnesota zone. Bellows now turning in his own zone, goes the other way, and gives it to Hatcher. Hatcher's got Modano on his left. Drop pass, Mike Modano. Swung it through the skates of Basson, but didn't get a good scoring chance after that. Here's Hatcher keeping it into Broughton. Broughton sent it near the net, but with not enough force to get through St. Louis sticks. Here's Broughton again. At center. Neil Broughton right in the middle of the ice, but he's hesitating and not making a play. And the North Stars turn around again. Ulf Dahlin will try it. Down the right side, Ron Sutter right on him. Great drop for Bobby Smith, and he was beat to the puck by Brown. Blues Emerson flips it, and it is out and out of play with 11:02 remaining in the third period. And St. Louis out shooting the North Stars 5-1 in this period.
Noticeable if he doesn't have the puck, but he sure draws a lot of attention in a hurry when he does get the puck on his stick. The first time Ludwig with the block shot, and then Hull just followed it up, and it ended up back on his stick again, and a good save by Casey.
Bobby Smith and Ron Sutter poised in the face-off area, and the Blues have it. And LeBlanc gets a nice pass to Emerson down the left side against Johnson. Emerson stops. The trailer is Shanahan from the corner at the side of the net. Shanahan gets it again. In front, Emerson couldn't control it, and Dahlin tipped it out. Casey leaves it for Johnson. He passes it around the forechecker Emerson to Bobby Smith. Smith couldn't keep it on his stick for the moment, and the Blues come back with Hull. Ridden out of the play, Dahlquist up to Bobby Smith. He turns and finds Prop. Smith is knocked down, and so is Prop. Craig has a chance now, the third forward, and he doesn't get it into the St. Louis zone. Blues shoot it into the North Star zone, and there's a penalty being called by Rob Schick as John Casey touches the puck. North Stars will be shorthanded.
Gino Cavallini is known for his heavy body checks, and that time he laid a couple of heavy body checks on the North Stars players in the neutral zone, and a retaliation penalty after Mike Craig got hit by Cavallini. He turns around and gives him a little whack across the leg. And referee Rob Schick saw it and called him and puts the Blues back on the power play.
All three Minnesota forwards were sent to the ice that time, and the third one, Craig, got up with a bit of a whack in his stick, and he's off, and the North Stars are shorthanded for the second time in the period. Norwood from the point. Big stop by Casey's left leg. The rebound bounces loose, and the North Stars don't get it out. Broughton with another chance. Doesn't get it out. Right in front, they score. Christian.
Well, Dave, Christian had gone 10 games without a goal. Now there's three North Stars caught on one side. Oates with the great play to Hull. Hull fakes a shot and just lays a perfect pass over to Christian coming in from the corner, and he puts it into the empty net. But the North Stars were trying to clear the puck. They had 3 guys right on the boards. Oates knew that. He just sent it over. He knew Hull was over there. Hull just took his time. He could have shot or passed, waited for Dahlquist to go down and set a perfect pass over to Christian, who put it in for a 4-2 lead.
The first real damage done tonight by Hull and Oates, but it is a damaging play for Minnesota's chances as they set up the goal by Dave Christian, St. Louis's 3rd power play goal of the night. And here come the Blues again. Almost another chance in front of the net, this time for Rich Sutter. He digs away at the puck and brings it loose. Lowry shot it into the stands with 9.5 minutes remaining. The Blues lead by 2 with their 3rd power play goal of the evening. Well, Brett Hull can get rid of the puck very quickly, and that's a key to a lot of what happens for the St. Louis Blues, whether he's passing it or whether he's shooting it.
Well, he keeps himself in a position to always get the puck, and he just kind of stays and lets everything happen. Oates knows he's over there someplace, and he's got that great player. He can either shoot it or get rid of that quick pass, and with those hands, he laid a perfect pass on Dave Christian's stick.
It is his 2nd point of the night. Brett Hull, a couple of assists tonight. He has had some scoring chances, although it took a while for him to get some shots on goal, but he's not going to have 13 tonight, as he did in the Blues last game against Winnipeg. Blues having some trouble back of their goal. They give it away, but no damage is done as Rich Sutter and Lowry break out. Rich Sutter down the right side. Across the net as Lowry just failed to deflect it. Here's Basson to Lowry, and Casey robs Dave Lowry. He doesn't know where the puck is. John Casey thought he had it and had to cover up a second time as the Blues went looking for the loose puck.
Well, Dave Lowry went the first 15 games of this season without a point. And he scored his first goal the other night, scored his 2nd. He's now scored in the last couple of games, and I think maybe the fact that he is a father for the 2nd time. He had a little boy that was born last night at a little after 10 o'clock. Little baby boy, Joel David Lowry. And he was all smiles this morning.
He scored more than expected a year ago for the Blues. This time got off to a slow start. That line is among the best, or certainly the best known checking lines in the league. Basson, Rich Sutter, and Dave Lowry. Our Stars send it down the ice. Rolling puck will be played by Norwood. Christian missed the pass at center, and the North Stars, needing 2 goals to force an overtime, have to get something going in the other end. Here's Hatcher. Hatcher thought about dropping it. Got a weak shot steered aside by Joseph. Bobby Smith tried to center it for Prop, and it bounces right to Joseph. He'll hold it with 8:22 left.
Just prior to that power play goal that the North Stars, or that the Blues scored, the North Stars had a couple of chances in the neutral zone to get the puck in deep and continue their forward momentum to put pressure on the Blues. They turned it over a couple of times. That led to the Mike Craig penalty. That put the Blues on the power play, and that led them to the 2-goal advantage.
Bureau is on the ice, and he'll be there with Basil McRae and Shane Churla as Bob Gainey is anxious to get something stirred up here.
Well, this is a line that's played very well for Bob Gainey the last few games. This is a line that forechecks well. They go in there, they take the man, they get things going offensively, and let's see if they can't provide a spark right here.
Well, if nothing else, maybe they can get a St. Louis Blue to go to the penalty box. Mark Bureau on the draw. Puck lies loose along the boards. Churla dug his stick free and plays the puck in the corner. He took a hit from Lavoie out of McRae. Butcher ran McRae to the boards. Basil is tied up with Garth Butcher again, back of the net. McRae trying to get in front. Hatcher keeps it in. He shot one off the skate of Basil McRae, and it comes out into the neutral zone. Hatcher got it back on his stick. Dangerous play there for the moment for St. Louis. Here's Dahlquist. His shot didn't get in as Ron Sutter stopped it. Sutter's long pass to Cavallini. He pulls down a North Star, and there's Minnesota's chances. They're going on the power play. Here's Gagne with Churla in front, and Joseph made a good, strong, aggressive move to prevent Shane Churla's scoring chance. Here's Modano, back of the goal, in front. Big shot. McRae is robbed by Joseph, and Basil McRae doesn't believe that one didn't go in, as Butcher now flattens the North Star, and there might be 2 penalties to St. Louis.
Well, now the North Stars have to stay away from everything because, Dave, I think you're right. He just may call 2 penalties on the Blues right now, and the North Star players should just skate away from it and let things happen. Now Shanahan's going to try and draw somebody into a penalty, but this is a great chance for the North Stars to get right back in this game.
Well, I think there's 2 calls being made here. Shanahan continues his disturbing tactics, trying to get Churla to go to the box. Apparently he is. Shane Churla is getting a penalty, or is he?
I think those are going to be coincidental minors, though, because he looked at both those 2 when it happened and pointed at both of them for coincidental minors. I still believe that he is going to call 2 minors, though, on the Blues on both Butcher and Ron Sutter. Let's wait and see here.
Well, Butcher hasn't gone to the box yet. He's standing there wanting an explanation. It was Butcher who slammed into Churla after the fact. There are 2 Blues already in the box. The original penalty was to Ron Sutter, and Garth Butcher is over at the bench and now is skating back to talk to Schick. But it looks as though the Blues are just 1 man short. There's Butcher and Churla. Watch them as Churla whacks at Butcher again, and then is shoved by Butcher, so Garth Butcher doesn't get anything for that.
I think he may have changed his call, because from my vantage point it looked like he made a second call and pointed at Garth Butcher, and he may have changed his call after that all happened. The call, there was already a delayed penalty on Ron Sutter before that last incident, and just prior to that, what a great chance for Basil McRae, as Modano made a great play to him, and McRae, again, he couldn't get the puck up over, go high on him, because Joseph came out and went straight down on his knees. The puck was low, and he made a good glove save.
So Garth Butcher got a free shot at the end on Basil McRae, and or Shane Churla rather. No penalty was called on Butcher. The Blues nevertheless are 1 man short with 7:21 to go. And Butcher from the face-off wraps it down the ice. Minnesota power play featuring Mike Modano, who will start it up. At center ice, Modano trying to beat some Blues, knocked it in along the boards to Bobby Smith. Modano down on the ice and maybe right on the puck as they dig for it. Turning his Prop back of the goal. Ryan Prop still with it. Referee didn't really help as Prop had to get rid of it. It was in Schick's skates, and now the Blues come back to Lowry. Dave Lowry's shot goes wide. Modano back the other way for Minnesota. To Prop. He's onside at center. Brian Prop was going to drop it, keeps it on his stick. Now to Bellows. North Stars trying to set it up. At the point, Glynn keeps it into Modano. Far side, Bobby Smith. And Brian Glynn couldn't handle a bouncing pass from Smith. North Stars Modano shoots it in. They just missed Rob Schick. Joseph out nicely back of the goal to play the puck. And that allows the Blues to get it out to center. Smith for Minnesota. He's got Jim Johnson on the move. Johnson left side, cutting in. He's taken down, no call. As Rich Sutter tried to get it out, couldn't. Dahlquist's shot goes wide, and there's nobody at the far point. They come all the way down to Casey. He plays it to Dahlquist. Back in his own zone, 25 seconds left in the penalty, and the Blues hit Schick with it. Again, he's in the play a lot. Last chance for the power play rush for Chris Dahlquist. He hits Dahlin at the blue line. Dahlin centered it for Gagne. Couldn't get a good shot away. McRae in the corner against two Blues. McRae comes out with it. Now leaves it for Dahlin. Dahlin right near the net. Joseph made a save. I'm not sure he saw the puck. And Ron Sutter out of the penalty box shoots at the center. Blues wrap it all the way down to the Minnesota zone. Casey's out with a pass right onto Oates' stick. Oates to Hull. And he just missed.
He doesn't miss many like that. He gets those opportunities. He very seldom misses the net. I think he was just surprised to see a wide open net.
Here's McRae, a shot, and Joseph made the save. Turning for the rebound is Glynn. And it back to the point to Hatcher. Hatcher shot. Norwood stopped it, gloved it ahead. It's still loose. North Stars shoot one and score. Gagne has them within one.
Well, that's just good work by the North Stars. Darian Hatcher, though, is the key guy on this. As the puck came back to him, he made sure that he got the puck through to the net. Lee Norwood ended up going down to block the shot, and the puck stayed loose, though, and that puck just started bouncing around. But again, Hatcher with the key shot to get it down. Norwood tried to glove it ahead. Now, just on the other side, Gagne just goes to the side of the net. The puck will deflect right over to Gagne, and he had the wide open net with Joseph again down on his knees. He couldn't recover, and Gagne put it into the empty side.
So they don't score with the power play chance, but they do score just after that. And you'll notice Dave Gagne is not in the goal crease. Nicely, legally outside it, tipping that puck in.
I don't think you like that rule either, Dave.
Here's Jeff Brown at center ice for St. Louis as he fires it off the backboards. The North Stars down by one now. Prop couldn't handle the pass. This is going to be icing against Minnesota, and Lee Norwood touches it with 4:20 remaining.
Your attention, please. Mark.
Well, there's still plenty of time left to go in this game.
Please report to the
North Stars
power
again with
sections.
Lee Norwood seeing a lot of ice time tonight. Brian Sutter continues to play him. They got Norwood because they were really short on the left defense, or a left-handed shooting defenseman, I should say, and they were looking for someone that number one could shoot left-handed, number two had some experience. That's when Lee Norwood became available, and he's played a lot of hockey tonight for the Blues. North Stars need to win this draw, get the momentum back down into the blue zone and start putting some more pressure on.
Gagne's goal is his 8th of the season. Basil McRae and Mike Craig with a lot of strong effort in front assisted on the goal, and here comes Brian Propp to Modano. Modano flipped it past Lavoie. Butcher over to help out his defense mate, but behind the net and around the boards, and the Blues safely send it down the ice. Is it icing? It will roll, and no, not quite hard enough or fast enough does it get to the other end. So here's Dahlquist for the North Stars to Johnson. He hit a blue with his pass. Emerson steps on the ice. North Stars thought about yelling for too many men. Well, they yelled anyway, but not quite as hard as they would have if they thought they had a case, perhaps. Now Minnesota has to watch it as they change with the puck right at the bench, and it's back in the St. Louis zone with 3:37 to go. Clock continues to move as the Blues are just dumping it into the Minnesota zone whenever they get a chance. Here's Hatcher for the North Stars. Long pass, too long on the right side for Bellows. Hatcher has another chance at it at his own line and has some room to move. He's passing the right side to Craig, and it's offside. Not too happy with the call for the North Stars, but they'll have to come back outside the blue line. It was Brian Glynn who was called for being offside.
And Brian Bellows has started to play much better hockey the last 5 or 6 games. He's starting to score a few goals after that hat trick in Toronto. It seemed to ignite him somewhat, and he, again, is one of these key players on the North Stars that they've got to count on him to have a good, strong, solid season.
Blues will make a change. They send out not exactly their top defensive line. Oates, Hull, and Christian play against Gagne, Craig, and Bellows. The old Milwaukee game story. Brian Propp's 2 goals, but the Blues have 3 on the power play, and John Casey's been in, out, and back into this game. Hatcher keeps it in, shoots one. Puck lies loose. Craig at the side of the net. Now he has another chance of his own, and Joseph beat him. Big chance for Mike Craig to even the score. And now Hull strips Hatcher, and Casey beats Hull. What about that? Brett Hull isn't meant to score tonight. Here's Brian Glynn down into the St. Louis zone trying to prevent an icing. He didn't. It is called icing against Minnesota with 2:44 to go. Well, a bit of a lesson for the rookie defenseman Darian Hatcher, who can thank John Casey.
Yeah, we've talked so much about how well Darian Hatcher has played. And this time Brett Hull just kind of lulled him in. But meanwhile, Mike Craig with a great chance. Now watch Curtis Joseph. He'll go right down on his knees. Craig just can't get the puck up high enough. And he's down on his knees scrambling around. And right back the other way the Blues come. And Brett Hull, Darian Hatcher looking for someone, just overskates a little bit. And Hull was right there, lets a quick shot go. But a good save by Casey holding his ground.
Well, we'll remember that if the North Stars are able to come back and tie or win. That might have been it right there. Brett Hull buried it for his 17th of the season, but Casey beat him on the play. Bassen bumping in the corner. Rich Sutter comes out with it as the defensive forwards are on for the Blues, and Sutter scores! How's that for defense?
Well, that should really, can't allow that to happen. And right off the faceoff, it looked like everyone was just standing around. Bobby Smith supposed to take the centerman on the faceoff. He doesn't. And watch Rich Sutter get by Bobby Smith again. He walks around, and Dahlquist is looking at the other player, or pardon me, Jimmy Johnson, I should say, took the other player. You can't just take the man. On a play like that, Jimmy Johnson has got to release. Dahlquist goes way out to cover the guy in the slot, and Sutter gets away from Bobby Smith, walks right around the side of the net. That's where the defenseman has to release the other man and go over to the puck carrier and force him to make a good play.
I said he was a defensive forward. Rich Sutter has his first goal of the season. North Stars buzzing again in the St. Louis zone, but now they're down by 2. And it's Christian who has what now stands as the winner, knocking it in for Shanahan. Casey right back out to center. Brown shoots it into the Minnesota zone with just over 2 minutes to go. The Blues will really be conservative now that they've built another 2-goal lead. Hatcher gave it to Craig. Craig up to Bellows. In the corner for Shanahan as Hatcher pitches in. Lost the puck off his stick. And here comes Dave Christian by himself, one-on-one. Christian making moves, almost get into the clear, still has got the puck though. Hatcher comes back as prop. Casey's coming out of the net. The North Stars are lifting the goalie with 1.5 minutes to go. Here's Prop with a shot, and Joseph got a little bit of that. And it comes all the way back into the Minnesota zone where the net is empty. Modano. He's going to bring it out for the North Stars. Mike Modano. Up to Brian Prop. Prop loses his footing as Joseph keeps the puck in motion to Lowry. Linesman fell behind the play, which is going to rise out of the crowd. And here are the Blues looking at the empty net, shooting it down the ice. It rolls, and it is going to go far enough for icing as Prop touches it with 53 seconds remaining.
Well, this has been a strange game here tonight in St. Louis with the North Stars and the Blues really never. This game started off with neither team really having any type of momentum at all, and the North Stars with some opportunities, but the Blues coming back, getting 3 really strange goals to lead this game 3-1. The North Stars came back and put some pressure on, and then really got away from that game. And the Blues are known for that tight checking type of style. They haven't played much of that type of style so far this year, but they've been able to hold the North Stars back at some critical times in this game.
Well, at the beginning, Joe, we said that the North Stars had to stop Brett Hull. They have. We said they had to score first, and they've done that. But we also said that the St. Louis Blues would have to take care of their own end. And I don't know how well they've done it, but the North Stars really haven't done much of a job in their own zone tonight, and that's probably the biggest reason the score is 5-3.
Yeah, the goals that they've given up tonight are really not the type of goals that we've seen the North Stars give up in the past. They're a strong defensive-minded team, and a couple of mistakes by Casey along with their defense, especially on this last one, has led to those St. Louis Blues goals.
And the big thing the Blues did in pinpointing our keys to the game was get the power play going with 3 of their 5 goals scored with the North Star in the penalty box. So one way or another, we seem to zero in on what would happen in this game, but like shuffled cards in a deck, it didn't all come out the way it was supposed to.
Well, I think the North Star players right now, and looking back on what's happened and the opportunities that they have had during the course of this game, they're shaking their heads because they've had good scoring chances with time to shoot the puck, but they haven't been able to get the puck up high.
They've had 30 shots, which makes 16 straight games in which St. Louis Blues opponents have had 30 or more shots at either Curtis Joseph or Pat Jablonski. And that's been a big part of the Blues' problems, but 30 shots don't appear to be enough tonight for Minnesota.
Well, now what the North Stars have to do, Bobby Smith is going to take the face-off. And again, what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and send 3 or 4 players to the front of the net. Should he win the face-off, it's up to Brian Glynn to make sure he gets the puck through to the net and not miss the net and have the puck go around the boards and clear the zone.
Casey, of course, still at the bench with 6 Minnesota attackers. Zombo got it around the boards for Lowry, bumped into Modano, but the puck went past both of them, and that's just fine for the Blues. Here's Brian Glynn hitting a St. Louis player, but the North Stars' Dahlin wraps it into the St. Louis zone with 40 seconds left. Butcher thought about trying for the empty net at the other end. Now Lowry flips it out to center, and that's all the Blues are anxious to do, not win 6-3, but win 5-3. 25 seconds remaining. Glynn back of the goal. Prop with 2 Minnesota goals tonight. Straight to center ice. Flipped it in. Offside is called at the St. Louis line with 10 seconds remaining.
Garth Butcher has certainly seen a lot of ice time tonight for the Blues. Of course, he was acquired late last season at the trading deadline in that big trade that St. Louis made with Vancouver. And a lot of people around here are still questioning that trade that sent Momesso, Ronning, Jeff Courtnall, and Robert Dirk to the Vancouver Canucks for Garth Butcher and Danny Quinn.
They especially question it when they look at the scoring leaders in the National Hockey League and see Cliff Ronning and Jeff Courtnall both there for Vancouver. Now what do we got with 10 seconds to go? Something important enough for Rob Schick to conduct this conversation. I think maybe a few seconds ticked off the clock after that offside was called, but I can't imagine that. Well, maybe that's what it is Schick. Yep, they're going to put some time back on the clock. The Canucks scored twice in the last 10 seconds. I mentioned that to say that it's possible, not that it's likely. And the puck now back to 10 seconds after all of that. That took 2 seconds to get the puck into the crowd, and some things have a way of evening out. Our Stars flip it in as the seconds tick away, and Curtis Joseph gives it to Garth Butcher, who gives it to Rich Sutter, who sends it down the ice, and the Blues have won 2 in a row here on home ice, an overtime win over Winnipeg, and a 2-goal victory over one of their Norris Division rivals, the North Stars, who lose in the division for only the 2nd time this season.
Well, I thought the North Stars really had a good opportunity to come back and win this game. They let it slip away in the 3rd period. The Blues came back with a couple of goals to sew it up.
Brett Hull didn't score and Adam Oates didn't score, but the Blues got 5 anyway and beat the North Stars by 2.
Doug Patterson was wrong, because when the Shark Fin started playing, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came surfing by, it got a little better. And when a treasure chest of old Milwaukee washed ashore, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Victory over the Minnesota North Stars as we bring you the full game summary. In the first period, Brian Propp scored on a power play. Blues were 2 men short. The Blues, on a power play of their own, managed to tie it in the final minute. Michel Mongeau from back of the net. In the second period, another power play goal. Nelson Emerson, the rookie, with his 6th of the season, And then Ron Sutter, as John Casey gave it right to him, scored unassisted. They took the assists away from Shanahan and Emerson, and for good reason. It was 3-1. Then Brian Propp's second of the game put the North Stars within one. They killed off a penalty starting the third period, but Mike Craig was in the penalty box when Dave Christian scored what proved to be the winner from Hull & Oates. Dave Gagne gave the North Stars a chance with his goal less than 5 minutes from the end, but Rich Sutter won a puck behind the net and was able to come right out in front and score his first goal of the season. Bob Basson assisting, and the Blues win it by a score of 5-3. The North Stars know why they lost. I don't think we have to repeat that, and we've pointed it out that sloppy play in their own zone cost them this game. The Blues will be happy to win no matter how they win. When they're struggling like they are, they'll take an overtime win over Winnipeg, and this kind of victory is the St. Louis Blues go 4 points up on the North Stars now.
Yeah, the Blues have been struggling at home, especially in the power play, as we mentioned earlier, and with 3 power play goals. Not all of them real pretty, but they did get them. And the North Stars really, they had some chance in the first couple of periods, a couple of chances with men all alone in front of the net, Curtis Joseph down and just unable to get the puck over them and really take control of the game.
It's especially frustrating for the North Stars to hold Brett Hull off the score sheet, and he had some chances, but really went 2 periods without a quality chance that Brett Hull usually has, and still lose the game. Hull wasn't much of a factor.
No, and you have to give the North Stars credit for that, keeping him away from the puck, keeping him off the board. We didn't mention his name really much all night tonight, and again, that's a credit to the North Stars, but a couple of mistakes here and there is what led to their downfall.
Well, Brett Hull did have an assist on the winning goal, of course, and so did Adam Oates, so they contributed there on the goal scored by Dave Christian, but the North Stars go home and they'll play the New York Islanders Tuesday. Then they have to get right back into the Norris Division for a couple of games against Detroit. This was the reason that the term four-pointer was invented. Had the North Stars been able to win tonight, they would have been even with the Blues with 2 games in hand. As it is, they're down by 4, and as good as they played in the Norris Division this season, a loss like this, just one loss against a division foe, can really damage your chances of moving up in the standings. There are 3 teams ahead of them now, the same 3 that finished ahead of them last season.
Well, and there's so many times when teams look back to earlier in the season and say to themselves, if we just would have played a little better, if we would have had a couple of breaks. I think this is going to be one of those games that the North Stars players and their coaches are going to look at tonight and in the next week or two and say to themselves, this is a game we could have won. I don't think we saw the Blues certainly at their best. They've struggled, but again, the North Stars they couldn't get that puck past a sprawling Curtis Joseph.
Let's look at what has happened elsewhere in the National Hockey League tonight as we